let me go on to talk a bit more specifically about the daily management system. And I just want to emphasize at the outset that this is not the only way of looking at a daily management system. We put together these key practices that we think you would most likely find in a daily management system, but we are not saying that this is the only way and or the only practices that should be in a daily management system. So to start with visual performance measurement, and that's important because if you don't measure the work or the outcome of the work, you're not able to see whether things are getting better or not. And in addition, we want to visualize that. So graphs with trends over time are an important way of informing people about how they're doing and of course, triggering the necessary corrective action if needs be. Now, that takes place at the daily team meeting. And so daily teamwork and having a structured system for running your team meeting, having a facilitator who learns how to keep the discussion short and focused on the issues on the agenda and not to try and solve the problem in the meeting, that's another important practice in the DMS. Standard work is a general term referring to standards that we use. What's probably fairly well known are things like SOPs, which is the correct, currently best known way of doing the work in a standard operating, that's documented in a standard operating procedure. But standards come in many different forms. As a target for quality, for instance, is a standard. A checklist to make sure that you've got all the surgery equipment before the operation starts in the hospital is another standard. So, but the key issue is that without a standard, we don't know whether we are getting the work right or not. And so standards play an important part in the lean management system. Then there's continuous process improvement. You could call it just continuous improvement. You could call it Kaizen. It goes by different names, but it's the part that quite often you find that people and organizations focus on first and most. But by itself, continuous improvement cannot give you all the benefits because you need to think about sustainability as well. And then last but not least, 5S workplace organization refers to the original 5 S's were Japanese words that described the stages of getting your workplace organized and fit for purpose for the work that needs to be done there. So quite often at the first stage, you would ask yourself, what do I need equipment-wise, inventory-wise, etc., to do value-adding work at my workplace today? And anything that's not needed is removed because it basically clutters up and creates waste. Then I've got a sixth practice here, but this one is not for the team. This one is for their manager. And what I intend with this is that included in a manager's standard work would be that they need to look after the teams that report to them and keep an eye on whether the team is maintaining the above 5 practices because they will start deteriorating by themselves. And there needs to be somebody who keeps an eye on it, and when necessary, can nudge the team to make sure that their measurements are up to date or that their meetings don't run over time too much, and so on. So these are very brief descriptions of these practices. But